The other day, I was online watching some painting videos, as I normally do, and I came across this one gentleman who was clearing in a way that I had never seen before in my entire life. And I've seen this guy's videos before, and I always thought, his work came out real nice, but he did something that I never saw him do before at the very end of his coat of clear. And today, I'm gonna show you guys what that is, and I'm gonna try it out for myself, because part of me says it's not gonna work, but the other part of me says it kinda does make sense. So you guys know me, and I'm not afraid to give it a try and find out. Worst case scenario, our job comes out with a little texture. Wouldn't be the end of the world. I'm really curious also, when we get to the clear, if you guys have ever seen anyone do this, or if maybe you do it. We are going to do something a little different. We're going to be using a 4-to-1 clear instead of a 2-to-1 clear. Although I don't know what clear he uses. It seems like using a 4-to-1 to apply it in his method would probably be the better route to go, because a 4-to-1 is going to have more open time, meaning it's going to move around longer than a 2-to-1 clear, which is what we need, because if the clear skins over, tightens up, or starts to flash off too quickly, it's likely to have the opposite effect of what I'm hoping for. All right, so we're on to our last coat of base. While we throw this coat on, there's two things that I've been wanting to address. So I'll do that, and then we'll start laying clear on this thing. For those of you who have been watching me for a while, you know by now, my main purpose for making these videos is to help educate people about painting and share what I know about painting. And then, of course, there were other reasons I make the videos also, such as, learning from you guys and just having people to kind of hang out with while I paint. So with that being said, I feel obligated to mention something that I've been seeing more and more of that really kind of upsets me. What that is these talking head painters. Now, I don't really see much of it on YouTube, although there are a few. It's much more popular on Facebook, and I know why that is. It's because Facebook's ad revenue is actually insane. I make more on Facebook ad revenue than I do on YouTube ad revenue. So I think the reason why it's more common on Facebook is because it's easier to make money on Facebook. Now, when I say talking head painters, what do I mean? I mean people who are trying to tell you or teach you how to paint, tell you what's right, what's wrong, or how to do something. And out of all of their 500 freaking videos, there's not a single video of them painting. And a lot of what they say is just complete nonsense. I mean, I'll give you an example. There was this one guy, I'm not going to name any names. I mean, he sees the video, he sees the video. This was on Facebook. He was talking about his method of painting an entire car. And the topic was, what's the correct order to go in when you're painting a full vehicle? Because no matter where you start, like let's say you start, let's say you start on the hood, right? And you come down the passenger side. By the time you get to that last fender on the other side, what's gonna happen is you're gonna put a bunch of dry overspray all over the fresh cleared hood. And so he was talking about how to avoid that. First thing I noticed, he didn't even talk about the roof. I guess when you paint the whole car, it excludes the roof. But obviously, we all know here, if you're painting a whole car, you're painting the roof and you start with the roof. He didn't even mention it. And then what he said he does is he'll paint the hood first, then he'll come paint his fender, then he'll run to the other side of the car, paint that fender, then he'll run back to this side of the car, paint the front door, then he'll run and just back and forth and back. And I mean, look, if you paint a car like that and it works for you, great. But that's the biggest load of bullshit I ever heard in my life. I know plenty of people who paint whole cars that are not running laps around the car like a track to paint the car, okay? So let me tell you my method real quick, just because it makes sense and I want to show you guys I want to tell you guys the right way to do something. So what I do personally, and it's not the only right way to do it, but running around the car like a track is not the right way to do it. Me personally, I start with the hood. I start with the roof, right? You always want to go top down. I start with the roof, then I'll do my A-pillars, right? So I'll do my entire pillar. I'll go all the way down to my fender, right here, and then I'll go all the way. Basically, I would stop on top here. I would stop right here. Where the roof ends on top, I would stop. Then what I do is start with the trunk. And then after the trunk, I'll do my quarter and I'll wrap all the way around the car in one direction. Just like that. So by the time you get to your last panel, which is this quarter, and our trunk is already painted, well, guess what? You're not going to get much overspray, if any, at all on your trunk because it's on a different plane. This guy's running laps around a car for no reason. So the point of this whole talk is just please, if you see people telling you how to do paint work, body work, or anything like that online, take it with a grain of salt because they're just doing it for views. They're just doing it for money. They are not offering you value, okay? There is very few people on the internet who are actually offering you value, and the majority of them are the ones who are actually on camera painting a car, not just talking about it. I've been dying to get that off my chest. Sorry for the rant. Anyway, here's the clear we're going to use. If you've been watching me for a while and you're an OG subscriber, shout out to you. That's the next thing I wanted to talk about, which I'll do while we mix this clear. You know, we're using the Luma Base 2000. This is a great clear. It's not an expensive clear. It's not like anything top of the line or crazy. I think it's about $160, $170 a gallon. So it's not a cheaper clear, but it's not an expensive clear either. It's right there in the middle, just like the Omni, which is a 2-to-1 that I use. Now, while I mix this up, the other thing that I wanted to mention, and this is much quicker, I know I have been slacking on getting back to comments on my long form videos. Life sometimes, it just does what life does, and it makes things hard to do that I would like to do. So I apologize to you guys because I don't want you to think that, I don't care or anything like that. I absolutely do care. And I will get back to the comments on my last video as soon as possible. Also, in regards to our giveaway, I have not posted that video yet. This video is going to go up first, but I promise you guys, the giveaway winners, the video will be up no later than tomorrow night. And for this month, March, after I put in some work with this gun, because it's only fair that, they sent this gun to me and all they asked me to do was review it. Shout out to them also. DeVilbiss and now Segola, this is our next giveaway gun. When these guys have sent me guns, they have never pressured me in any way, shape, or form to say anything good or indifferent about their guns. They just send the guns and ask for me to make a video. Nothing else. They don't ask for any specific length, any specific format, nothing. So shout out to Segola and DeVilbiss because I respect that. I respect that a lot. All right, now on to the good stuff. So according to this gentleman, if you want the smoothest finish possible, here's what you got to do.
Now I went ahead and knocked out the door jambs and the top of the pillar. So essentially, at first, you want to throw on a coat of clear, however you normally would, which his method is much different than mine. This guy kind of holds his gun real far back and moves very, very slow. But what really matters is what we do after we put this coat down. So we'll just slowly on. I'm around 29 PSI. I have my fan and my fluid both wide open. Now, right after you lay that, what he says to do is come back over it, right? And give it a mix, just like this. Nice and slow. I have my gun slightly further back, and I'm just giving it a mix. Essentially, you're reflowing your clear. So, after that, you leave it alone. I mean, we still got to give it one more coat, but you give it your regular coat, and then you just pull your gun a little further back and mist over it very slow. Again, I have absolutely no clue if this is going to work at all, but you're going to find out. And it's very similar to the 1.5 clear coat method, where you're going over your clear basically immediately, but rather than giving it a half a coat, you're just giving it a light mist. The idea behind it is by adding the solvent to the top layer of the clear, you're going to force it to stay open for longer, which should allow it to flow out more than it normally would. And I'm using a medium hardener here, obviously unreduced. And the good thing is we have a blend panel over there. We're going to clear that the normal way. And since we're going to clear this the normal way, we'll have something to compare the finish using his method and the finish using the standard method for clear coat. It's been so long since I shot a 4-to-1. This stuff comes out like water compared to the 2-to-1 clear that I use.
I almost stepped on the hose there. Now, after our first coat, just looking at it, to me personally, it doesn't look better than it normally would. It actually looks a little worse. Doesn't look bad, but it looks a little worse in my opinion. But I think I know why that is. And I'll explain it to you and correct it while we lay the second coat.
After laying that first coat and coming in here and looking at it, I realized that this is not going to be an easy method to do or to get right, because when you apply that mist coat that he applies, if your pressure is too high, you're going to atomize the paint too much, and it's just going to cause it to land like dry overspray. So on this coat, what I just did was I lowered my pressure a little bit. I'm probably around 26 PSI, and I'm going to hold my gun still back, but a little bit closer. And I'm also going to move a little bit slower to give it a chance to stack up. You'll probably also get more foam build out of this as well. You'll definitely use more material. Alright, that looks better already, I can tell. That looks much better. Okay, and now back to our door with the regular method. Another thing you gotta be careful of, if this method works is overloading the panel. Because if you go too slow, you're just gonna trap solvent and your fluid's gonna die back on you. And I have my gun set up the same exact way for all of these panels. Alright? We're gonna let everything flow out for 10 minutes, and then we'll check out the finish on the quarter and compare it to the door.
All right, it's been about 10 minutes. We're not going to compare the bumper because I forgot to do the mist coat on this. So it's not really gonna be a good judge of anything. But here is the quarter. I can honestly say it looks better than I anticipated it would look. I really thought I was gonna end up with a tight texture that I didn't like and that didn't look OEM at all. But actually, I gotta give credit where credit's due. I didn't know if I wanted to mention this guy's name or not, because I wasn't sure how things were gonna go. But since I'm complimenting you, his name is Stenko Automotive. I saw him on Facebook. Now let's check out our door with the standard method. You know, I can honestly say, I think the quarter panel looks better. You know what I'm noticing? And I know you're not going to be able to see it on camera, but this is lacking depth. Whereas the quarter panel looks very deep and rich. Although the texture is similar, I can undoubtedly say that there is much more depth in this quarter panel. Much more. I mean, here, it almost looks like I used a 2-to-1 clear. So you're definitely getting more film build, and I would even argue slightly less texture, although that is arguable, but you're definitely getting more depth. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, if you got any value out of it, or if you were entertained, if you could, please consider dropping a like, comment, or maybe even subscribe. Until the next time, peace!